with you.
Very good.
All righty, we are live streaming, so I'm going to start the webinar so our attendees can join. All right, Commissioners Blair and Castone, we are.
All system go. Great. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our second round of redistricting. I'm your co-host or co-chair this evening, Joel Castone, co-chairing with Tamara Blair. Want to welcome all who are participating. We have before us the assignment of looking over maps that'll help us to identify which map we would select for the redistricting. And that would be specifically, we are actually drawing SMD single member districts and ANC commissioners in these maps that we are evaluating. This is our second round this evening. What we will be doing today, we'll be looking at maps. Each map will have relatively between 5 or 7 minutes, by which we will ask a series of questions, my co-chair and I. Those questions will be based upon the redistricting principles. In doing so, followed by the question that we will ask, we would definitely want to yield the floor to our task force members to also share their perspective on the maps. We want the audience and participating members to know that we will view all of our maps, and we will try to do so in a very timely fashion, being sensitive to each and every one of the task force members, particularly our moms and dads who are in the audience. A huge shout out to all the moms who are managing their personal affairs, job, and their children. Oh my goodness, fellas, we got to give them a hand, especially when we recognize Women's Month. I don't want to go off topic, but I definitely want to give all the women a shout out. However, moving right along. So we want to make sure that we're actually doing this in a timely fashion. In addition to that, once we view all of our maps, we're going to also do a vote. Our vote will be based upon 3 principles: whether or not we will accept the map as whole, we will accept it partially, or we will simply decline it. With that being stated, I also want to state that our next public meeting will be Wednesday. I want to get it out of the way now. Our next public meeting will be also Wednesday at 5 o'clock. So we have between 5 and 7 p.m. this evening and 5 to 7 p.m. next Wednesday. We are in the best ward and we're doing a great job. We're not here to fight, to claw, but to make our points heard loud and clear, and our voices matter. Everyone's opinion does matter. So with that being stated, I want to turn it over to our co-chair, to my co-chair, our co-chair, Tamara Blair, who will conduct the questionnaire sessions as relates to the presentation of the maps. Commissioner Blair.
Thank you, Commissioner Castone. At this point, I would just like to request all of our task force members, please indicate in your screen name what area, what your ANC might be. We have some people that may not be familiar with the area you represent, and so as you're speaking, they would already know that from viewing, but as you are speaking, also identify yourself, because we may have people that are listening to this working session and unable to see exactly who's who. So try to remember that when you're speaking, your name and what your ANC is at this point. So we're gonna ask our facilitator, Commissioner Justin Leaney, if he is ready. I'm ready, and we're going to start with pulling up a couple of maps that the task force looked at, but there was no vote taken on those 2 from last week, last Monday. And then we will get into maps that have been submitted since the last votes were taken, which was Thursday of last week. We have several new maps to look at, some in some cases, the map maker may have submitted a previous map, but they've come up with bigger and better ideas since listening to the comments about their previous map. So Mr. Leaney will introduce the first map and tell us who the creator is. And if that creator is present, then we would like them to explain briefly what their map is about. Then I will have a few questions.
Thing. This map is called 7F and 7D across river ANCs. It's by Tyrell Holcomb, who presented this map last Monday. And we weren't voting on maps that night, so we didn't have a chance to decide whether to bring it forward or not.
So Commissioner Holcomb, are you present?
He just typed that he wants to withdraw that map.
Excuse me?
Commissioner Holcomb just typed that he would like to withdraw that map.
Good.
Okay.
Next up is a map called Ward 7 ANC Plan. Former ANC 7001 Commissioner. That one is by Robert Coomber. This map was reviewed last week and last Monday, and we didn't vote on it.
Okay.
But here it is.
Commissioner Coomber. Is Commissioner Coomber out there? In the audience, Commissioner Coomber. Okay, seems he has not yet joined. But I think what we could do is take a look at this map. I know since this time this was submitted, there's probably another map in there. Co-chair, what do you think we should do here? We can review this map based on the explanation he provided in the system and just kind of generally see the layout of, we can see the configuration of the SMDs and also the population as they stand. Of course, we know a couple of populations are out of bounds in terms of what's allowable because that's the way the census tract is and you can't break census tracts on the mapping system.
Nothing besides with particular point of view as relates to this map. And I see Mr. Felder's hand raised. That's the only hand I see now.
Thank you, Co-Chair Castone. This is a humble recommendation, Chairperson. Considering that Commissioner Coomber isn't on the call to explain this map, maybe we go to another map and then we can revisit the map at a later time.
We can do that.
Mm-hmm. Seems fair to me also.
Okay, we will do that. So then we're into a fresh stack of maps for our first review that has been maps submitted since Thursday.
The next map is Robert Coomber's other map. Do we want to view that or do we want to move on to the next?
We'll move on to the next one. And hopefully by the time we circle back, he will have joined.
Definitely. After that was Mandela Deskin's map 7C, most updated with former 7E07. Mandela has withdrawn that map.
Yep.
So,
Oh, sorry. I could just, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just wanted to say it just in case folks were